Welcome back to the Lil Will Learning Company. And we're going to go back to a very favorite topic of ours, how to solve word problems. Now, I wrote a book this past summer called Direct Approach to Math Word Problems. And it was basically meant to help with any student go through many different strategies of how to solve any type of word problem. And there are many strategies within the book. In fact, each chapter focuses on just one. And so I figured I'd take this video here today to focus on one of those chapters, one of those strategies, which is basically to look for a pattern in the problem. We're going to take a look at just one example today, kind of see how it's solved. And really, it's not even that difficult. If anything, even though it's not a very difficult problem, the point being is to see how the strategy works. So let's take a look at how to solve a problem while looking for a pattern. All right, so here's the problem that we're going to take a closer look at today. A famous clockmaker designs clocks that chime on the hour. At 1 o'clock, the clock chimes 1 time. At 2 o'clock, the clock chimes 3 times. At 3 o'clock, the clock chimes 6 times. At 4 o'clock, the clock chimes 10 times. So if this pattern continues, how many times will the clock chime at 7 o'clock? So we're going to use the strategy of looking for a pattern. And let's start with what we're given and see if we can find a pattern there. We know at 1 o'clock, it just chimes once. Then at 2 o'clock, the clock chimes 3 times. So just from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, it chimes an extra 2 times. So it chimed once here. We add 2 more chimes to it. That's why at 2 o'clock, it chimes 3 times. Now, from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock, chimed 3 times at 2. At 3 o'clock, it chimed 6 times. So actually, then we have an increase here of 3. At 3 o'clock, it chimed 6 times. Then at 4 o'clock, it chimed 10 times. So now we have an increase of 4 from the previous hour. So here we're starting to see a pattern. Whatever the previous amount of times that it chimed in the previous hour, that's a weird way to phrase it, but however many times it chimed in the previous hour, we're going to increase it by essentially just 1 more than the last hour. So here we went from 1 hour to the next, we added 2. From 1 hour to the next, we added 3. From 1 hour to the next, we added 4. So let's go ahead and put the rest of the times down here because we got to figure out how much it'll chime by 7. So let's put 5 o'clock here. I know, world's best drawings. 6 o'clock right next to it. And then underneath that, 7 o'clock. Well, from 4 to 5, we added +2, +3, +4. So from here to here, it's going to chime 5 more times. So 10 times plus the 5. This one's going to chime 15 times. Then from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, it's going to chime 6 more than the previous hour. So we have 6 here plus the 15. That would give us 21 chimes by 6 o'clock. Then from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, it would chime a total of 7 more than the previous hour. So 21 plus the 7 gives us 28. So by 7 o'clock, it'll chime 28 times. Now, does our answer make sense? It does. You see, here's the pattern. +2 from the first hour, +3, then +4, then +5, +6, +7. We have a clear pattern of constantly increasing the amount of chimes from the previous hour. And then we just added on to the amount of chimes from the previous hour as well. And the pattern fits. So 1 time in the first hour +2 gives us a 3. 3 times that hour plus the 3 more gives us 6. 6 times this hour plus the 4 gives us the 10. 10 times this hour plus 5 would give us the 15. 15 times in this hour plus the 6 gives us 21. Then 21 plus the 7 from that hour gives us 28. It all checks out. Fairly simple, fairly straightforward. Hope that helped. But most importantly, who's buying this clock that's chiming 28 times? See? Not too bad. And I think for a lot of students anyway, typically we usually find patterns within problems. That's kind of the beginnings of multiplication and addition, but we look for patterns in a lot of parts of life as well. So it's one of the more intuitive strategies, but for some students, if it's not told to you directly, like, hey, look for patterns, then yeah, you could see why maybe someone would miss it. But obviously, when you get to algebra and other more complex topics, the patterns become more complex as well. But there's some good practice here. If you liked this video, please just also subscribe to the channel, and check out our book, Direct Approach to Math Word Problems. Until next time, take care.